with fake news. Because CNN is fake news.
Just quickly, Iran said that they would consider military and commercial bases as legitimate targets if you struck. Are you concerned about...
If they do that, we'll consider things targets that they wouldn't believe. If they do that, we will hit them at levels that they've never been hit before. They won't even believe it.
Do you think
I have options that are so strong. She says, CNN, do you think they take your threat seriously? Wouldn't you say they do after all of the things we've done? What a stupid question. I'd love to make a deal with them. It's easier. But one way or the other, we're going to have Greenland.
Are you okay?
President Trump takes questions from reporters, and it's absolutely insane. CNN tries sneaking in a couple of questions, and he does exactly what you expect him to do. Who are you with? Oh, fake news? Oh, that explains it. But on a more serious note, he also answers questions about Iran. He also answers questions about Greenland, talking about how Greenland is going to be a part of America 100%, whether they like it or not. And it's going to be happening very, very soon because China or Russia could and probably would be taking it. And he won't allow that while he's president. He also talks about the ongoing ICE protests, or I guess anti-ICE protests that are taking place in Minneapolis and across the country. There's a lot jam-packed in this video, and I do hope you stick around for the full thing because it's pretty fucking funny, if I'm being honest. It's funny. All I ask in return is for you guys to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's get into this.
It's going to be very rough in about 10 minutes, so we'll have to go a little bit quickly. They just said very, very rough.
Sir, on Iran, have they crossed your red line yet to trigger a response?
I know they're starting to, it looks like, and there seem to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent, if you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. But we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options. We'll make a determination.
Which options have you been briefed on? Are you meeting with senior officials?
I'm going to tell you the
Are you meeting with your
Am I
senior
going to
officials?
really, are you asking me to say what will they do, where will we attack, when, and at what angle will we attack from?
Are you considering?
Who are you with?
I'm with the U.S. White House TV pool. I'm wondering, are you being briefed on options?
network are you with?
I'm with CNN, sir.
Why don't you just say I'm with CNN? She says I'm with the White House pool.
Yes.
And I say, what? You're with CNN. You're with,
I'm with CNN,
you're
yes.
with fake news.
Iran
Because
said that-
CNN is fake news.
Iran
Go ahead,
said
give me a question.
You gotta love him. He refuses to take questions from fake news CNN, and I don't blame him. CNN is tanking in ratings. They're always twisting the narrative, and to be fair, it's just a formality letting CNN on Air Force One at this point and into the White House. But they're, whether they are entitled to get an answer from President Trump, absolutely not. They're a garbage media outlet. You know this. I know this. Everybody knows this, especially President Trump.
Can I ask how you're balancing and how you're deciding your response, the balance between helping protesters versus hindering them? Because I imagine that's a delicate balance to strike.
I mean, some of the protesters were killed through the stampeding. I mean, there's so many of them, and some were shot. We're getting a full report. I'm getting an hourly report, and we're going to make a determination.
Sir, the son of the disposed Shah and some military leaders are encouraging you to take action in Iran. Is that a serious option? And are you listening?
People have been shot, and we're looking at it. Yeah, please.
Are you going to go to Venezuela, or is Secretary Rubio going to go to Venezuela
They go at
anytime
some
soon?
point. Yeah, sure.
Are you going to be
We're doing well. Venezuela is really working out well. We're working along really well with the leadership, and we'll see how it all works out.
Are you planning to meet with Delsey to go?
At some point I'll meet. Yeah, she's been very good. Look, she asked us, could we take 50 million barrels of oil? And I said, yes, we can. It's $4.2 billion. And it's on its way right now to the United States.
You gotta love him. I mean, he's a successful businessman. He knows money. He knows deals. Obviously, he is ending like 8 wars, and there's more wars that he's potentially going to be ending. I mean, the guy is great at what he does. And the fact that he did what he did with Maduro, captured the president in the middle of the night, brought him here to hold trial, and now Venezuela is sending America oil, I think it's phenomenal. It really is.
When will you meet with Machado this week?
Looking for something to grab here because it's going to get rough. and I don't seem to be in a very, I think you did this to me. You put me in a position where there's absolutely nothing to grab.
Mr. President,
So I'm looking for something to grab, and it's not going to be Caroline.
Have any oil companies made commitments to you, sir? Have any oil companies made commitments to the United States after your meeting on Friday, sir?
Yeah.
Which have Exxon,
No,
Cadogo?
I don't want to say. No, I didn't like Exxon's response. We have so many that want it. I'd probably be inclined to keep Exxon out. I didn't like their response. They're playing too cute.
what backstops or guarantees have you told the oil companies that you're willing to provide?
Guarantees that they're going to be safe, that there's going to be no problem, and there won't be. There's not going to be a problem. They had problems in the past because they didn't have Trump as a president. They had stupid people.
Iran said that they would if Cuba makes a deal.
What kind of deal are you looking for from Cuba? What kind of deal are you looking for from Cuba?
You're going to find out pretty soon. We're talking to Cuba, and you'll find out pretty soon. And one of the things I want taken care of, and one of the groups I want taken care of, are the people that came from Cuba that were forced out or left under duress, and they're great citizens of the United States right now. You have a lot of people forced out of Cuba unfairly, so we're going to take care of, most importantly right now, we're going to take care of the people that came from Cuba that are American citizens or in our country.
Are you going
Do
to
you
send
plan to seize any oil tankers that are headed to Cuba?
Well, we have a lot of oil people really interested. You saw that the other day. That was just a small group because the room in the White House, we need the ballroom actually. We could have filled up the ballroom practically. We have so many people that want to go in for oil. So you saw some great companies.
Are you going to send Starlink to Iran, sir, to help the people in the ground with the internet blackout for more than 72 hours?
We're going to be talking about that. We may get the internet going if that's
Are
possible.
you talking to Musk
We
about
may
it?
speak to Elon because, as you know, he's very good at that kind of thing. He's got a very good company, so we may speak to Elon Musk. And in fact, I'm going to call him as soon as I'm finished with you.
Am I the only one that's really happy that Trump and Elon are back together? Like they were BFFs right after, like during the election, right after the election, there was a falling out. Things got a little weird and now they're back to being really good. And I think that they together working side by side is really the superpower force that we need to just move into this golden age and truly make America great again.
Just quickly, Iran said that they would consider military and commercial bases as legitimate targets if you struck. Are you concerned about?
If they do that, we'll consider things targets they wouldn't believe. If they do that, we will hit them at levels that they've never been hit before. They won't even believe it.
Do you think
I have options that are so strong. So I mean, if they did that, it'll be met with a very, very powerful force.
Do you think Iran takes your threats seriously?
I think so. Don't you think so, CNN? Don't you think so? Wouldn't you say that they probably do at this point? After going through it for years with me, being hit, Soleimani, al-Baghdadi, the Iran nuclear threat wiped out, don't you think, and then you just had Venezuela, don't you think, she says, CNN, do you think they take your threat seriously? Wouldn't you say they do after all of the things we've done? What a stupid question. Go ahead.
Are you coordinating with allies on the response to Iran?
Mr. President, when will you meet with Maria Corina Machado this week?
I don't know. I hear Tuesday or Wednesday. I look forward to that.
Have you named your board of peace for Gaza yet? Where do those plans
We have a
stand?
board of peace that's being formed, but essentially it's the most important leaders of the most important nations. All nations, but the most important, you take the most important leaders and nations, that's who the board of peace is going to be. Everybody wants to be on it.
Sir, one group taking your threat seriously is one area taking your threat.
You win.
The New York Post.
New York Post treats me semi-fairly. So go ahead.
One group taking your threats very seriously is Greenland. Are you still thinking of military action there, or is there anything they can?
Where? Military.
Greenland. Greenland. Is there anything they can offer you for a deal?
If we don't take Greenland, Russia or China will. And I'm not letting that happen. If we don't take Greenland, Russia or China will take Greenland. And I am not going to let that happen.
Is there any deal they can offer you? Either like
Yeah, sure. I'd love to make a deal with them. It's easier. But one way or the other, we're going to have Greenland.
Are you
This is interesting, the whole, thing that's going on with Greenland, because it's not just Greenland that America would greatly benefit from. And you've seen this ongoing rhetoric with Canada becoming the 51st state. And I am pro-American imperialism. I've been very, very honest about this in all of my videos. And still, right now, I'm still very much pro-American imperialism, because when you look at the world and where we're heading, I personally see a few different outlets, or a few different scenarios. One is governed under Sharia law. I don't want that. Two is everybody, or kids, or great grandkids, or grandkids, they're having to learn Cantonese or Mandarin. I don't want that either. Or three, they're having to learn Russian. I don't want that either. I'm born in the West. I love America, and I want to see America thrive, and I want to see America topple the way that other superpowers have toppled in the past. So again, pro-American imperialism. I love this. They should take Greenland, and America should probably also consider something with Canada too. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments about that one.
if that compromises NATO? If NATO effectively ceases to exist
I've
in
done
order
a great job. I'm the one that saved NATO. I'm the one that got him to pay 5% of GDP. Wait a minute. It was 2%, and they didn't pay. Now they're paying 5%. I'm the one that saved NATO. You wouldn't have NATO if I weren't president.
Would you pull the U.S. out of NATO? Would you consider doing that?
Well, maybe NATO would be upset if I did it. Maybe NATO would save a lot of money. But I like NATO. I just wonder whether or not if we needed NATO, would they be there for us? I'm not sure they would. We spent a lot of money on NATO, and I'm not sure they would.
But what would you say?
Now, what's happened is, as you know, Sleepy Joe Biden gave $350 billion to Ukraine and got nothing for it. I got rare earth back. I got, I think, value back far greater than that. And that's what he should have done. Now, if you look at what's going on with respect to NATO, we have a very good relationship. 5% GDP, and they pay us. We send them military equipment, and they pay us back the full cost of the equipment. The war is, we make money with the war, but I don't even want to talk about that. I want to save the lives. They're Russian and Ukrainian lives. I want to save the lives. That's the only reason I'm doing it. This is Biden's war. Should have never happened. Would have never happened if I were president. This is Biden's war. It's not Trump's war. All I can do is stop it. And I think we're making progress toward stopping it, which would be number 9 1/4. You know what the quarter is, right? Right? Thailand and Cambodia went at it again, but I got it stopped very quick. I consider that 1/4 of a war.
To be honest, NATO without America is just a bunch of people that have absolutely no idea what the hell they're doing, and with a little bit of funding. America, if I'm not mistaken, fronts more than or just around 50% of the entire contribution to NATO. So yeah, without America, NATO is pretty much the size of Luxembourg, this big. So I don't think they're going to be getting in his way for acquiring Greenland. I don't think they're going to be getting in his way for potentially annexing Canada in the not so distant future. And is NATO going to have America's back if Russia or China try to make a move independently? I don't know. I have no idea. But what I do know is America is the superpower. And if you're in the West, you should be 100% cheering on America.
Last time, have you made a tangible offer to Greenland yet? Have you made an actual offer to Denmark?
I haven't done that, but Greenland should make the deal because Greenland does not want to see Russia or China take over. They don't go there. It's very far away from Greenland. And Greenland, basically, their defense is 2 dog sleds. Do you know that? You know what their defense is? 2 dog sleds. In the meantime, you have Russian destroyers and submarines and China destroyers and submarines all over the place. We're not going to let that happen.
In the meantime, are you going
And if it affects NATO, then it affects NATO. But, they need us much more than we need them. I will tell you that right now.
Are you going to
The UK
increase the
and
amount of
Germany-
military
That's
bases?
a war that should have never happened with Ukraine.
The UK and Germany are discussing plans for a joint NATO mission to protect Arctic security in Greenland. Does that change your calculus at all?
No, look, we're talking about acquiring, not leasing, not having it short term. We're talking about acquiring.
Does that require
And
the US to
and
do something
if we
else?
don't do it, Russia or China will, and that's not going to happen when I'm president.
Are you going to increase the amount of military bases on Greenland in the meantime?
But we have bases on Greenland. Yeah.
Are you going to do more?
I put a lot of soldiers there right now if I want, but you need more than that. You need ownership. You really need title, as they say in the real estate business.
You're on Minneapolis. Your administration has advocated for absolute immunity for the ICE officer who shot Renee Good. How do you define absolute immunity? What does that mean?
Everyone's seen it, and the woman was very violent. She's a very radical person. Very sad what happened. Her friend was very radical. Go or
But
drive.
for the officer, absolute immunity. How would you define that?
Well, I'm going to let the people define it. But immunity, you know what immunity means as well as I do.
So that officer
But
should be back on the
people
force?
can't be treating law enforcement that way, whether it's ICE or Border Patrol or our police and men and women. You can't do that. We have, the law enforcement in our country is doing really well, despite the fact that Sleepy Joe Biden allowed people to pour through an open border. Crime stats just came out. We have the best crime stats on record, despite all the criminals he allowed into our country. We've gotten a lot of them out. We have to respect our law enforcement. At a very minimum, that woman was very, very disrespectful to law enforcement. And you heard the same noises. You saw the same crunch that I saw. You can't do that with law enforcement, whether it's police or ICE or Border Patrol or anybody else.
When it comes to ICE officials, though,
Mr. President, well, just to clarify on the absolute immunity, do you believe ICE officers should have absolute immunity?
Generally speaking, these people have been harassed and threatened every day. They had bands out playing so they couldn't sleep at the hotel. I see what they're doing to them. They're threatening them constantly. And all they're doing is doing what I got elected on. We had millions of people that came into our country that are horrible people that shouldn't be in our country. They're murderers, they're drug dealers, they're people from mental institutions, they're the criminally insane, they're people from prisons. They were allowed to come into our country because Biden was a stupid person, and the people surrounding him, very smart, very vicious, but they have no common sense, and they're radicalized people. They're radical left people, not radical right. They're radical left people. And all they're doing is what I campaigned on. I won in a landslide. We won all 7 swing states. We won the popular vote. We won the districts. We won everything. We won the counties. We won the counties by 79%, I believe. I campaigned on the Great Border, and now we have a Great Border. But Biden let 25 million people come into this country, and many of those people are criminals, including 11,888 murderers, and we want them out. And I won on that. Now people don't talk about it because the border is so secure. Nobody wants to talk about it anymore. The border was one of the reasons I won the election. I've done such a good job on it that nobody wants to talk about it anymore. The border is totally secure. And now the crime stats just came out, and they're the best numbers since they were taken, and that's like 50 years ago. We have the best crime numbers, despite the fact that a lot of criminals were allowed into our country.
do you think that
We have to respect our law enforcement.
Sir, do you believe that deadly force was necessary after watching all the footage of the evasive past? What's your assessment there?
It was highly disrespectful of law enforcement. The woman and her friend were highly disrespectful of law enforcement. You saw that. They were harassing them, were following for days and for hours. And I think, frankly, they're professional agitators.
But does disrespect
And I'd like to
mean that
find out,
deadly
and we are going to find out who's paying for it,
But does disrespect
with their brand new signs and all the different things. But these are professional agitators, and law enforcement should not be in a position where they have to put up with this stuff. What that woman and what her friend and what their other friends were doing to law enforcement, not just ICE, law enforcement is outrageous.
he brings up some very good points. People today have lost their freaking mind. It's like, I don't know, people think they're living in a sort of a video game where they can just say and do whatever they want to authority figures. That's just not how the real world works. You don't get to go up to a cop and try and grab his gun and then go, hey, whoa, 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 why are you getting so angry and hostile with me, bro? Are you racist? Like, no, law enforcement is, I don't want to say above the law, but kind of sort of, they're the ones that get to dictate the law within certain parameters. And what happened with Minneapolis was very truly, clearly self-defense from that ICE agent. And it's unfortunate, but it seems like that is going to continue because of the weird, wacko rhetoric from the left-wing politicians, left-wing media. All the media should be saying is, when you see federal agents conducting their jobs and in the middle of an investigation, do not get in their way. That's literally the only message. But instead of doing that, they pander to the mentally ill on the left. And, well, then we have people throw themselves on ICE vehicles in an attempt of a peaceful protest. It's weird, it's bizarre, and it's very much shattering this country. But I believe that Trump can do what is the appropriate thing to do in order to bring America back together, for it to heal. But that's my opinion. I'd love to know yours. And also, like and subscribe if you guys haven't yet already, and comment down below what your favorite clip of this press conference was. And I'll see you guys in another one. Bye for now.